Welcome back to the Black Hills Boys podcast. This is season 2, episode 6. We have survived Dallas. It took a whole week off of the podcast. Happy to be back. Joshua, you look a lot better than the last time I saw you, buddy.
Oh, I'm thriving right now.
I mean, you look like you've really brightened up.
Yeah, no, the lighting in here is good. That definitely helps, but doing much better. Much, much better. Benjamin, you look okay.
Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to go to Dallas, so I'm just sad and just hanging out here in South Dakota. One day at a time.
You know, for the general public, last time we went to Denver, me and Ben were bedmates. You know, because we just get one room, 2 queens, and that was a really good living situation for me. So I tried out some new things on this trip. First night I went ahead and stayed with Shay, and I thought that was going to be a very comfortable situation. Turns out Shay is a terrible person to share a bed with. Kicked me, stole the covers, made weird noises. So the next night I thought I'd sleep with Josh, but instead those two ended up sleeping together. So I got my own bed night 2.
Yeah. In Shay's defense, since he's not here to defend himself, I actually didn't have any issues. I felt like Shay was a good bedmate. He took up majority of the bed, but I slept on my side, and there was only a wandering hand every once in a while from him. So, slap that away and move on. But no, I thought it was fine. I think you just have high standards.
Listen, buddy, I don't like being kicked, touched. I don't know what was touching me. I don't really want to get into that. No, I was not comfortable with the situation at hand. Overall,
I'm shocked Josh and Shay bunked up the second night. Last time in Denver, that was a big no-go there. A little different situation. I'm proud of you boys.
Sometimes if there's an altercation of some sort, you just have to sleep together.
Yep, you got to go to Dallas, and
Dave and I did it in Detroit. That's how you heal wounds.
Mm-hmm.
We've never been closer after sleeping together.
Life advice early on, right there.
Overall, the trip was pretty fun. That we got there Saturday morning. Everybody kind of met up at the airport. Went to the Texas State Fair where Texas and Oklahoma were playing, and it was miserably hot. I'm talking at least 100 degrees. Shay looked like the most uncomfortable person in the world. And I remember just looking at Josh and going, anytime I start feeling like crappy about myself, I just look at Shay and see how poor he feels. And that gives me a little energy, a little juice.
Shay had just went out like 2 nights in a row too. So then got off the plane at like 8 in the morning and went, well, I should say this. We didn't check in too early, but we checked in early. It cost me an extra $25 that Dave was not paying to check in 40 minutes early.
This guy couldn't even speak English, dude. So I'm here like trying to negotiate.
Oh, fine. You just said, we're not doing that. You didn't negotiate. You just said, we're not doing that. It's 40 minutes. And my whole thing was like, what are we going to do for 40 minutes? And then we were going to go eat, and the place didn't even open up until 11. So I just walked back in probably a minute after we walked out. And I just said, I'll just pay the extra $25 because it was worth it, I thought. Get changed, go eat, head down to Texas State Fair, miserably hot. A little advice for everybody that does go to that ever. Go farther in, the cheaper the beers get. The farther
I'm going to give you advice. Don't go.
Don't go. That's also, yeah. It was, I don't know if the tailgate on the other side of the stadium was better or something, but man, it wasn't what I was expecting the Red River rivalry tailgate to look like. So we were on the wrong side of the stadium, I think.
And who knew that every single Texas fan wears a polo? Who knew that?
Yeah. Isn't it like just an SEC thing?
I don't know. Every dude that walked through there had a polo on. I felt at home. Like I was like, hey, my kind of guys. But Dave wasn't liking it. Yeah, they were a little too fratty for me. But yeah, but seriously though, the first section of people selling beers, $10. Okay, $5 water. The next step in, $9. I think $2 or $3 water. And then a little farther was like, what was that last one? A $5, $6 beer?
Well, I think Shea got a beer for about $3.50 or four tickets. He might have had a ticket in half.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
The last one in, like closest to the stadium, was half price of what the one right by the tickets were. And then you have to buy tickets there. They don't let you pay with card or anything. So we waited in line for 45 minutes to get our tickets to just then go buy stuff with, like, go buy beer with them instead of just being able to use a card. And I don't know, the lady, I think, still at the one place is still waiting for me to tip her because
the Cash App?
Yeah. They don't let you tip with like cash or anything. So she was giving us, because it's illegal technically or something, I don't know. But she was giving us she kept like giving me her Cash App thing. And I wrote it down. I was actually going to, but then after a while I was like, no, once I realized how much cheaper beer was everywhere else, then I'm like, no thanks. But it was hot.
Went down to the game too.
It was I think the most mature thing we've ever done in our lives. We ended up going back to the hotel after the game. Everybody's kind of sunbeat. We ended up all laying down to take a nap. Then we ended up sleeping for like 2 hours, pulled the Sackman. Josh stayed in bed. Me and Shea walked down to the gas station, figuring we were going to drink. Grabbed a few cases of beer. Yeah, it was. Grabbed a few cases of beer, walked back up. Josh is still sleeping. Then Josh was a hero of the night, ended up ordering Little Caesars. Turns out that had some serious consequences the next day.
Unbelievable.
It was a rough Sunday morning, to say the least, and we knew that would happen. Then game day was fun. I mean, the game didn't end up being what we wanted it to be. It was kind of a blowout, which you never want. We ended up sneaking into like the Hall of Fame section, which is still pretty wild, like where the suites are. Met Jerry Jones and Quinn.
They let us in. We didn't even sneak in. We got on the elevator and the guy's like, Hall of Fame. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that's where we're going.
That's the story.
But it was fun overall. I don't know if I'll ever go back to Dallas or not, but it was a good time.
Yeah.
Knocked another one off the list.
Did you ever figure out, you did, who that guy was you took a picture with, you and Shea?
Yeah, I did.
So walking through, and all of a sudden this big dude just looked like a football player. Dave's like, that's got to be somebody. And he was going like, I think he was either wearing Detroit stuff or with someone that had. So
Robert Porsche.
Who?
Robert Porsche played. He was a DN for us in the 90s.
But Dave's like, yeah, that's got to be somebody. So they went over and they're like, hey, can we get a picture? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I just took a picture of him, but had no idea who he was. Just knew he had to have been a football player, just how big he was. But and then Kid Rock walked by us. You guys don't believe it was Kid Rock? I'm sitting there watching, like, hey, that's Kid Rock, guys. I'm like, no, it's not. So I had to go check. It was. He didn't want to take a picture with me though.
No, he was not impressed with you.
He didn't even see me. I was like 10 feet behind him. I was just like looking over the people trying to see if that's who it was. I wasn't obnoxious at all at that moment.
That was fun though. Knocked another stadium off the bucket list, so I'm excited to see where we end up going next year. Might have to do a Green Bay trip for Benjamin or do something, but
yeah, we never go to Packers games anymore.
That's the first Cowboys game I've ever been to with the boys, so
it's not looking bright for the future.
I've watched a lot of Detroit Lions games. I'm starting to see a trend there. We gotta go watch.
Josh, do you remember telling me that Detroit was your second favorite team, and now you're rooting for them to go all the way? You remember that?
Yeah, I actually if I can't be happy, I'd rather you be happy, buddy.
I tell you what, the Dallas Cowboys fans were phenomenal. That was probably the friendliest stadium I've ever been in. Now, granted, we won 42-6, but even before the game started, whatever the score was, 47-9. Before the game started, they were just super nice. Nobody was really talking smack. I haven't seen a guy dragging like a little skeleton around. Like I think it was Dak Prescott or something. I don't know.
To be fair, it is Dallas. They're kind of like all known as casuals. Like there's not like hardcore Dallas fans.
Isn't that America's team?
Yeah, like they're all like the casuals. Like people like, well, I don't really know football, but it looks fun. I'm gonna cheer for Dallas. And so they call themselves the American team. Josh, I'm not counting you in this. I'm just saying majority of
I'm not like a
Dallas Cowboys
diehard fan,
fans.
just to say we're all casuals.
They're casuals. They're not hardcore. They don't follow who's coming in, who's out, who's getting paid what, who does what. They're just there to cheer for a team.
Dude,
Friends. They cheer for
you
ties.
don't know that. Just because, okay,
Well,
they have a significant higher population of fans. So yeah, there is a bigger group that's casual. But that's just because there's so many more. The percentage is probably the same as casual Cowboys fans as Packers, Lions fans. It's just
that's just not true. If you're a Packers or a
Way
Lions
more
fan,
fans.
you're not a
way
Cowboys.
more fans because we used to have something to cheer for. Used to.
All right.
Used to.
What'd you guys do last weekend then? Ben, I feel like you've been pretty quiet. You've been a real POS, but what did you do last weekend?
I watched the Oregon Ducks win again, undefeated #1 team in the country. And I'm going to continue to talk about Oregon until they don't look like the #1 team in the country, but it might be a while. Watched Jordan Love and Green Bay Packers in a heart attack game. Still got a win. Other than that, dude, I just chilled. It was a nice weekend. It was like the first weekend where I didn't have to go anywhere in a long time. So I just hung out with the fam bam, and Keely's parents came up, took us to a nice dinner on a Saturday night. So that was a lot of fun. Oh, actually, no, this weekend, Molly and Keenan came up. That was the weekend before. Had a good time.
Sweet, man. James Marshall says, what are your guys' thoughts on the way the fans acted when Watson crippled his leg? I'm going to let Ben take this one right away.
I mean, it's pretty low. That's a low blow on the fans. Obviously, that fan base is frustrated. They have every right to be frustrated with how they handled that situation. And even anybody, even a casual fan, a Cowboys fan, would have said, no way, we're not taking Deshaun Watson and paying him all that money. That makes no sense. So obviously, they're very frustrated. But to cheer against another guy, that seems like a low blow. And injuries, it sucks. Doesn't matter what team, who it is. Like this is their guys' lifeblood. They got families they got to support. So even of all the things that Watson's been accused of, you still can't hope for someone to get hurt. But maybe they'll be happy with Jameis.
Love Jameis.
One thing with it though, Benjamin, he's getting like $79,000 or $79 million the next 2 years, no matter what. So really,
I know.
his family's fed. Like, good for him in that case.
The massage parlors are fed.
Yeah, like all of a sudden another leg injury. This one's a little lower than the previous ones probably, but
Yeah.
But
Pretty tough.
yeah, the reaction was wild. But what did you think of one Myles Garrett's comment of how he's been? Is that one of those? What is that chapstick you just put in your nose? Okay.
Boom, boom. New official sponsor of the Black Hills Boys podcast.
That was a Shark Tank thing, isn't it?
What? I found this on TikTok.
It's a Shark Tank thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
What is it?
So, just
Boom, boom.
No big deal. But the Myles Garrett thing, saying that he was a model citizen in college and in the NFL, that like people shouldn't be like upset with him. A bit bold, like a bold statement, but he wasn't found guilty, so you can't really say. But then Jameis Winston, his speech about it just got me all fired up. Anytime that guy talks, like,
I read the other day. I did, Josh. I read the other day one of his teammates was like talking every time Jameis like announces a play in the huddle. It's like he just found out a new surprise, or it's Christmas. Like he's all excited, like 14 Roger Dodge or whatever the play call is. He's just all pumped up.
He just feels like he's just like, I don't know. He's always got everything. He could talk about like someone dying, the process of them dying, and it would like just be exciting. Probably, I don't know. But
I think did you end up answering that adequately, Joshua? Or yeah,
I'm good.
I think in my opinion, that unfortunate for him. Who knows if the massage stuff happened or not. I mean, I'm sure whatever. No speculation on the Black Hills Boys podcast, but I think for your own fan base to react that way is pretty awful. It kind of hits home with Aiden Hutchinson messing up his tib-fib, breaking that. And I think our fans were exceptional. I thought the Dallas fans were pretty awesome. If I'd have won in the entire stadium, that was a real POS. But no, it's an unfortunate thing. I mean, injuries are part of the game, and our group chat, we joke a lot, but you never want to see a guy have an injury that could be career ending, because you never know on things like that. So yeah, Jay says, where's Shea? He's on his way. He's coming back from the farm. He had to do some extra work with the sheep or something like that. He said, I'm not entirely sure.
New order of Velcro gloves came in, is what I heard. So, okay. So since you brought up, I was, if anyone's wondering, I was the fan that made comments that weren't I'm not proud of. Okay. One, I did not know how bad it was. Two, right away, I didn't know it was even Hutch. So and at this point, I was inebriated and I feel awful for it. I shouldn't have said what I said. Now, Ben, I don't know what his excuse was. He said some shit that probably shouldn't have been said, and he probably wasn't even, he's not even a Cowboys fan getting spanked. So I don't know.
Listen, the only good thing to come out of that injury is me and Ben hate each other at least once a football season. And last football season, it took about the whole season for me to get over it. This time was less than a week, so we're growing up.
Yeah,
I will.
You've seen a lot of growth.
I guess I'll come out here on a public statement and apologize for saying that. I hope Hutch can make it back by next year. I apologize. I'm sorry that was so mean and hurt your feelings.
That's not what he said, but it's fine.
That's exactly all I said. That's literally all
I
agree to disagree. I'm moving forward.
This is how
so far. You guys were inebriated. You guys were drunk.
This is how bad I was. I was like, oh, like he'll probably, like, honestly, if they make a playoff run, it's pretty early in the season. He broke his leg, like 6 weeks to heal a leg. T.O. was playing with plates and stuff in his leg after like 4 weeks or 3 weeks or something. It's like, he'll be fine. And then, like, I saw it and I'm like, ooh.
I just thought
it was way worse than I thought.
I immediately think of Alex Smith whenever I see someone snap their leg like that. Like that guy has to get his leg cut off. Like,
yeah,
brutal. Like
You look good. You look good.
Hey, buddy.
What's
Not
up,
as
dog?
good as you, Jay.
What's up?
Not as good as you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Jay Keffler's got another question for Shea coming fresh in. Who needs a dub more, San Francisco or Dallas this weekend? What's San Francisco's odds of making the playoffs after they beat the Cowboys' ass this weekend?
I'd say San Fran needs a win, and I don't think San Francisco's gonna make the playoffs.
But it didn't say beat the Cowboys' ass.
Oh, sorry, I must have added that.
Yeah.
I don't think San Fran makes the playoffs, to be honest with you guys.
What about Dallas?
Okay. If they're not going
Dallas
to make,
definitely ain't making the fucking playoffs.
what if so let's say they don't, like, they start kind of pulling away from the playoffs and McCaffrey is like good to go, but do they just leave him out for the whole year?
Yeah.
If people keep getting hurt and stuff, or do they bring him back and try to make a run?
You keep him out.
Okay.
I mean, it's up to him. It's ultimately up to Christian McCaffrey, but
Jay,
it's also like, who's going to win the NFC West? All those teams suck.
Seattle?
Yeah, Seattle's
they're
playing
not-
well.
I mean,
not a
Seattle's
good
playing pretty.
team.
They're playing pretty good ball right now.
No, they're not that great though.
No, they're not that great, but the NFC West also isn't that great.
Jay,
I-
That's why I think that 49ers could make a run.
I think San Francisco is one of the most beat up teams in the league right now, and I think once they start clicking, I think they're going to be okay. I think they still find a way to sneak in. I don't think they win the division, but I think they sneak into a wild card spot.
hey, speaking of beat up, is there not a thing that comes out that says like Debo's sick before I make a bet that he's going to have 25 rushing yards? Like, is that not a
No.
thing that?
If he plays if he registers snaps, then they
Yeah. No.
Dave, I got a question for you then.
He's got to
So
not
we're not
play.
done answering the
So
previous
you
question.
said you think San Fran's going to sneak in and get a wild card spot? How many teams in the NFC North make the playoffs?
I think honestly, I know it looks really good right now, but I say two.
You say
I
two?
I know all four are shown as being in right now, but I could see, a crazy thing, and I'll get into it in a little bit, is every team that's played Detroit has lost the next week afterwards, like a little hangover. And they play the Rams this week. Vikings do, so I could see them dropping that game. To be honest, I could see their schedule is super easy. So for the Vikings to not make it, they're gonna have to really Viking it up and really play for. I think the Packers are really good, but once again, I could see them dropping a few games. NFC North's tough. I could see Lions losing 2 more games in the NFC North. I could see the Bears falling apart and winning 1 or 2 more games the rest of the year. I mean, that's kind of my thoughts. If anything, no more than 3 of the NFC North teams, but I'm guessing 2.
Okay, so you say that how many wildcard spots are there? There's 3,
3.
and so I don't know. I just don't think San Francisco can sneak in there unless
I mean, it's so early in the season, bro.
it is early, and the Bucks losing both their receivers. I mean, that puts a damper on them a
Yeah.
lot.
That's gonna kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Evans? How far
He's
is
out
he?
till after their bye week, which is week 11. Hey,
Really?
Jace.
And then what happened? Is Ayuk with his
He's
ACL?
out for the year towards ACL.
What Godwin do?
Dude, fractured his ankle. It was nasty.
Fucking
Yeah.
snapped his ankle in half, dude.
I was laying in bed and it was like midnight here because that game didn't start till 9. I'm just looking for fantasy football reasons. And I'm like, why is he still in the game? Like they're down 10, 0 timeouts, 42 seconds left in the game. Check down. Roquan Smith just rolls up on his ankle and it was nasty, dude. Like in the replay, his ankle's like sticking the opposite way.
He
It was like Dak Prescott's how many years ago that was.
It was bad.
It was
And
bad.
I messaged the group on that and no one responded. It was typical. But I
didn't
I made the
see
comment.
that
I was like, why were they in still? Because I get they scored, put it within 10, but 40 seconds left, down by 10, and you just lost Mike Evans earlier in the game, and now, yeah, it was
Just stay healthy. That's like the name of the game in the NFL. Like just get to the next game healthy.
yeah, it was bad. And
Backfire.
then I don't know.
I don't know. It's tough though. Like you could have that injury anytime in practice too. So it's tough to like. It's easy to sit back, hindsight 2020, and be like that was dumb to play him. But realistically, like you're always going to try to finish till the last whistle. So
I don't know. Ever since Booby Miles went down, I've just always
Oh,
been
the
a
champion.
situation.
Barrett Boner, the old Douglas Bearcat says, "What's up, guys? All right, so I'll give you a Super Bowl I want." And he wants Ravens and Lions, more likely Chiefs and Packers. It's a bold take. I don't hate that.
I like Garrett. Attaboy,
I want Shay to answer this first. Shay, who do you want, and can you see the Chiefs and Packers in there?
I see the Chiefs. I don't know about the Packers. I guess.
I'd
I'd rather see Ravens and Lions for sure.
I actually think Ravens and Lions are what we're probably going to get. And that's the one I want. Rather than Green Bay, I'd switch out Ravens versus Green Bay. But
Well, I would argue that the Ravens Lions is way more realistic right now than the Chiefs and Packers. Patrick Mahomes has what, 5 touchdowns, 6 picks on the year, and there's
he
Yeah.
has 8 picks. He's leading the league.
Hey, they traded for D Hop though.
Yeah,
D Hop, a 33-year-old, 32-year-old D Hop,
What was that? A conditional 4th or was it a 5th?
right in D Hop's prime, right in D Hop's prime.
possibly a 4th. Yeah, but I don't know. I think he still can get open, and he's not going to drop the ball. Like you look at what they've done in the past.
You should see how big that dude's hands are.
I'm glad
He's got big.
buddy.
You know what they say about guys with big hands too.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's got big hands.
we all wear small to medium gloves in this group, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
D Hop don't. He wears extra larges, bro. Them fuckers are huge. They're paws.
I just don't know
Josh,
why.
go look up his hands. Go look up his hands right now.
I don't
I'm
know
serious.
why any team would, especially if you're in the AFC, would trade to the Chiefs. Like everybody in the league, 31 teams should be against the Chiefs. Like you should never give them any weapons. Like they've proven over and over and over that they win in the big moments the last 5 years. But instead, we're gonna go give them DeAndre Hopkins for a 5th-round pick. Like who are you gonna pick with that? Someone who gets cut next year? It's the Titans.
I
well,
don't know.
The Titans are a shit show right now.
Yeah, they are.
Boner says they're the Chiefs. This is Broncos fans talking until someone beats them. Their favorites. Yeah, I think the Ravens are way better than the Chiefs. I want to see those guys.
Them with Derrick Henry is a cheat code.
Yeah,
They hardly use them. They hardly
What?
used him. They hardly used him last game. Like he had two big
How many
runs.
yards did he have?
Yeah, because of 2 runs that were like 80 yards, bro. But
That's
before
all.
that,
That's all he needs. That's all he needs to do.
yeah, but
If he
Like-
gets the ball 10 times and runs for 180 yards, I mean, what?
Like
what
I'm
else
saying-
can you ask
I'm
for a guy?
saying they're showing out, and you got Lamar throwing 5 touchdown passes, and they're hardly having to use Derrick Henry. Like they're going to
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
problem.
I agree with you.
Lamar
there.
Silbordi's lead blocking for Henry. Like he just
Yeah, that Ravens team is nasty.
They're good. I think the Ravens Lions is probably most likely. They played last year, right?
Yeah, we got our fucking asses
I was
kicked.
gonna say
Yeah,
that was like
Lamar
the
just went
handbook
bonkers.
down,
We got
right?
embarrassed.
But no one can beat. NFC teams can't beat Lamar. I mean, it's just only one's ever done it.
Good thing we don't have to play him in the playoffs because he can't beat the AFC ones when he gets to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Facts.
She said, "Shout out State's fantasy football team. Finally got a dub."
Fuck yeah, baby.
You.
I'm
Hey,
back.
when's the G's Fast 4 Minutes? When's that coming out?
It's usually Thursday, isn't it?
I thought it would be today.
Let's
There's no
Ben,
consistency.
what the fuck is that hat you have on?
Black Hills Boys podcast.
Oh, it looks like something Melvin would wear.
Yeah, I kind of want one of those hats, Ben.
I know
Where'd you
you
get
do.
that?
Hey,
Online.
we're gonna keep answering comments and stuff, but let's kind of get into some football. We're already almost at 30 minutes here. Ben, your boy from Boise State's been booling out. How we feeling about him?
Hey, that thing is very blossomed really very nicely after I kind of called that shot way back after week 2 against Oregon and said this guy's going to be the Heisman. Like he's legit. He's the best player in college football, and yeah, that's proven to be true. So it's fun to watch. Regardless, I love watching him. The unfortunate thing I think with him as like a running back is that he's going to have a game where he only rushes for like 170 yards and 2 touchdowns, and some quarterback from Cam Ward's going to go have an exceptional game, and then everybody's going to forget about Genty because of one game, and he plays in the group of 5. But I mean, everybody knows. I mean, he's the best football player in the country. But
Future Cowboy?
he's gonna be a Cowboy. If you're Dallas, you could do everything. I don't care if you're first overall, you still draft him.
Well, Jerry came out and said that the way they're set up right now, Derrick Henry wouldn't be having the success he's having.
Oh, I saw that.
Jerry, just admit you should have picked him up. You probably could have paid him less than the Ravens are paying. He wanted to be a Cowboy.
Yep.
No, I would be perfectly okay with Genty. That'd be cool.
I
Our
will
last
say,
first round draft pick as a running back went pretty well for a while. So
yeah. No,
still got him.
I wanted to say, I think of all the years I've watched football and been a football fan, which is for a long time now that I'm 30, I think this year I've been the most entertained. I mean, just between all of the games, all of college football is just taken off. It's blown up. So many upsets, so many good teams. NFL has been great this year. I've just been every weekend. I look forward to football more than I think I've ever had in my life. It's just been so entertaining, and not even the teams I cheer for, not just Oregon and Green Bay, but I'm just sitting there all day watching football. I love it. It's just been a really good year so far, and the playoffs in the NFL, playoffs in college football are shaking out to going to be, pretty special.
I think it's a perfect year for that. The 12-team playoff or whatever it is. I think it's a perfect year for it with all the upsets, like you're saying.
Yeah, and we can take like Notre Dame for example. Notre Dame loses early in the year with that one loss to Northern Illinois, and all of a sudden at that point in the year, it's like there's no chance they make it in. Well, now all these teams are losing. It's like, well, Notre Dame just wins out. They're probably making the playoffs, just because everybody else is losing around them.
There's no way we don't make the playoffs if we win out.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to say no, even after that loss. But all these other,
I mean, the
teams,
last 3 weeks they've looked really fucking good.
yeah, I agree. And the committee sees that stuff.
And that's
So-
with losing their 2 best cornerbacks. We got 2
No,
true
get to the playoffs
freshmen.
might be
I
kinda
got a true
hard.
sophomore and a true freshman as our starting cornerbacks right now.
Yeah, that's scary. But no, it's been fun.
But we also
I
have the
love it.
best safety in the nation, so that kind of helps, I guess.
There you go.
Jay says, how do you fix Nebraska, or how does Nebraska fix
You
itself?
fire your offensive coordinator. Honestly, you could murder him if you wanted to.
They still gave up 50. Well, it's not the defense's fault against giving up 56 to Indiana, but
I'm glad we're on to
Back there
Jason's
over.
session here. This is why Jace listened to the show. And
Hill Huskers.
Jace, I'm going to be honest with you. Ohio State might hang 100 on Nebraska this weekend.
I wouldn't shock
I
me.
mean, they're going to come out pissed off, pissing hot. They're going to be pissing hot because they got screwed against Oregon. They had one timeout left, and the rest didn't give it to them.
Well, there has to be time left on the clock.
There was. When he hit the ground, there was 1 second left.
No, you can see his eyes. He's going into a slide, and there's still 0
No,
seconds
we were
on the
watching.
clock.
We were watching it in the hotel room, and there was 1 second on the clock
All right.
left.
Well,
Right, Josh?
No, it wasn't.
Josh,
Is
shut
it-
the fuck
Is
up.
it when you Hold on, isn't it? I have a question though. Like when they blow the whistle dead for a quarterback slide, isn't it when he begins his process?
It's
Or
when the
what? I don't know
whistle
what.
blows, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like when do they generally blow that? Because I don't care either way. I'm
I
just
think they
saying.
generally blow it when the guy comes to a stop.
See, I
But
thought
the
I was
ball
under the
is
He's
impression.
down where he started, though.
Right.
I was under the impression it was when he started his slide.
Still got to blow the whistle.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it was a dumb play by the kid. I'm not saying.
No, it
Oh
was
yeah,
really
he
dumb,
deserves
yeah.
it. They deserve to be punched for that.
Reminded me of the Dallas Cowboys. Like Dak Trent. I've seen stories old time. Quarterback
think-
being dumb.
I think Nebraska's on the right track, though. They're way better this year than they were previous year. They got Ryota playing quarterback. He's looking promising. Like, you're going to be okay. It's just not going to be this year because Ohio State's about to
I mean, and
spit on that thing.
Nebraska's gonna make a bowl game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what was your expectations coming into the year to make the playoffs? At that rate, no.
It's Nebraska every year. What do you mean, Nebraska?
Yeah, if Nebraska makes a bowl game, that's a really, really good season for him. So
Dang,
you're a
G.
fucking idiot.
G's trying to get some blood flowing through Shea.
That's fine. He's pissed off because Oklahoma might be the worst team in the SEC. That's fine with me.
They're going back to the Big 12.
JC,
That's what my dad.
Jason.
I'll make a bowl game. I think they make a bowl game.
I think they do too. I mean, I don't know who they have left. They have
They'll make
Ohio
them.
State, Wisconsin, Iowa.
Well, they lose those 3 games.
I was good.
They might
think
get
they're-
Iowa. They might get
Well,
Iowa.
I think they beat Iowa.
I think they can just score more points in Iowa.
Yes.
Just be
And
96.
Wisconsin's not great either.
I think there's one more team in there too. Like UCLA maybe or something like that.
Oh, that's a win.
I don't know, man. UCLA, they got
They're
They
the
got a
worst
ball
team
club.
in
they have a football team.
They do. They're bad. It'd be them in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Dave, how's the Florida game, buddy? I don't know. Have you talked about that yet?
I didn't talk about it. It was fun, man. It was good to see mom and dad. I didn't get there till it took like 5 hours to get there from Naples, and it usually only takes like 4. I think it was like 5.5 just because traffic was so slow. So we didn't do too much on.
1 second here, Dave. Let me interrupt you. Jason, Nebraska finishes 1-5, 1-4. They're gonna win one game.
They'll split Iowa, Wisconsin.
Okay, we'll go 2. We'll go 2-4, whatever it is.
There you go.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I don't have too much. I woke up Saturday morning. I was calling Dad, you know what? Because I was like, oh, you told me last night you're gonna start drinking at 8. He's like, oh, I won't. I won't. And he went over there and started making rums at about 8:10, 8:15 in the morning, and just remember the game didn't start till about 7:45 that night. So we drank all day. It was fun. Went and walked around the stadium. Nothing too crazy.
They kind of beat that ass, didn't they?
Beat that ass. Yeah, it was.
Shit.
They whooped it, man. It was a good game. The Gators are 2-0 when the Christiansens go to the Swamp.
Jeez. They should be
That's
paying
all that
you.
matters, baby.
They should just pay you to go.
You got NIL for Dave.
Oh, this is funny. Me and Dad went to the pisser one time during the game, and there's just a bunch of people in there, right? And I'm like 2 stalls down from my dad. He's like, dude, you got to see this shit. And I'm like, what is going on over there? He's like, you got to see this. And I'm like, what is wrong with him? All these people are like looking at him weird, like in the bathroom. And he like gets done going to the bathroom. He's like, dude, there's a huge cockroach in here. Like there was this giant cockroach, I guess. I was like, that's not what I thought. And that's not what the people in the restroom thought you were doing.
Timmy.
I said, you almost got put on a few lists. So that was what Marky Bobby was doing, man. He was trying to show everybody a cockroach in the bathroom or something.
Oh, that's great.
G says he's on the duck train for the rest of the season.
Let's
And
go.
G's officially bisexual.
G
Let's
is just
go.
glazing.
The double glaze from G.
You're welcome, Jason. I'm really excited to watch Nebraska in the Liberty Bowl.
Dude, a bowl's a bowl, Shay.
I know. I said I'm excited. I'm gonna put my Nebraska shirt on and watch them play.
Yeah. What a year. What about the NFL? How we feel
We
about
don't
the
need
teams?
to talk about anything in NFL.
I want to hear about Josh's NFL experience so far in the 2024 season.
Well, fine. I'll keep it short. Going into the year, I thought it was going to be awful. Okay. I wasn't very optimistic. Then there were a few ups where I'm like, oh, okay. Like, we're actually going to be a little better than I thought. Nope. We're actually as bad, if not worse, than I thought.
That's a bad team.
It's still bad. And then Jerry to basically come out and say again that he's not going to pick anyone up in free agency, anything like. I don't know what to say about Dallas Cowboys besides I'm a big WNBA fan, so I'm pretty disappointed that season's over. But
Josh, I got a question. And for the group, let's say Jerry Jones wasn't the owner. Somebody owned the
Nice.
Dallas Cowboys, but Jerry Jones
Saudi
was the
Arabia.
general. What?
Sorry, carry on.
What?
You
Someone
just
else
said
owns
Saudi
the Dallas.
Arabia. Bomb.
Okay, Jerry Jones is just the general manager. Would he ever have a job as a general manager for the Dallas Cowboys?
Fuck no.
Or-
He's
Never
a
in
Hall of
million
Famer. What do you
years.
mean? He's
In
the Hall of
Dallas?
Fame. No, he's in the Hall of Fame.
As a general manager.
Yeah.
Would he? I'm just saying, would he be the general
No.
manager for the Dallas Cowboys currently? With
No,
the
no one would have ever hired him in the first place.
He was a great
The-
general manager in the late 80s, early 90s.
Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips was a great general manager.
Okay.
Jerry had the title, but not Wade. Geez. Farther back. Who am I thinking of?
Why wouldn't Jerry just
How about the
hire
Cowboys?
somebody?
Who is it? What coach am I thinking of, guys?
Jimmy
How
Johnson.
about
Parcells?
Jimmy Johnson? Thank you. So Jimmy Johnson, he's
Then
the
he
reason
fucking
they-
fired him for no reason.
Yeah, but hey, he brought him back last year, 20 years later, to put him in the Ring of Honor. But
Awesome.
no, he would not have a job somewhere else. I will say they draft pretty well. Like but no, anymore, you can't tell me you're going to go pay a quarterback what they're paying Dak to win right now and then not get a running back and just settle with what you got. I don't know if D-Hop's out there for a 5th round pick and we're not even going and getting a D-Hop for a 5th round pick. Like, I don't know.
We met Jerry's brother.
Met him.
Yeah, we did. I know that guy tried telling us like, nah, like I'm not actually. It was his brother. Yeah.
Jay
Like,
says, not to interrupt you, Josh. Sorry. Jay says, what do you do in the Steelers QB room? Shay?
The way Russell Wilson looked on Sunday night, you ride that motherfucker. Because he looked really good.
You do what?
I'd ride him.
Whoa. Ben, would you ride Russell Wilson?
I guess we're all riding. If Shay's riding, I'm riding.
We're riders.
Okay.
Ride
You
or
know what?
die.
He did look really good, though. Did he not?
The first
Yeah,
half
that's
was
pretty good.
brutal.
The first quarter was brutal.
He
The second
turned it
quarter
around.
was pretty damn good.
He turned it around.
I think you trade Justin Fields.
I think Justin Fields has a future anywhere with it. Like his comments, how he took that on the chin. He was, what do you say? Like, I didn't do enough to earn the spot. Like,
Yeah,
how many
I
other
didn't get
young
enough
guys?
started.
How many young guys in the league are going to have balls enough to say that and like stand
Yeah.
by it? 'Cause he was still a great teammate on the sideline. Like, honestly, I would have kept riding with Justin Fields.
I think you trade him right now where his stock is pretty high. Get something for him because
Yes, sir, Brett Reed.
he's I wouldn't have him. I don't know. Obviously, he's a great backup, but
I mean, I think he's
I would ride Russell Wilson as well.
he's a
Brett,
quarterback of the future. I mean, they got him.
he's seen the Russell Wilson experience in Denver. Good for the first 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Fields is that quarterback of the future in Pittsburgh. I think he's just buying his
think so?
time every year. Yeah, I think. I mean, because he's there for multiple years. Russell's just on 1 year.
Justin's only on 1 year.
I was
Oh,
going to say,
he-
Fields is a free agent after this year.
Okay, I thought he had 2 years. Sorry about that. But I mean, regardless, I still think they're going to try to keep Fields around. I would if I was Pittsburgh. I know coming from my wife being a huge Pittsburgh fan and her dad, they're Justin Fields all day. I think all of Pittsburgh they're Justin Fields all day.
Like the
that's just
teammates.
something-
I think the locker room was Justin Fields from the comments
so,
here.
too.
Too.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure George
yeah.
Pickens is a Russell Wilson guy after the
George
other-
Pickens is definitely a Russell Wilson guy.
He benefited in fantasy football, definitely.
Yes.
G says, honest question, how would you fix the Raiders? Next year, Raiders will have a second most cap space to spend. So curious what you boys think the Raiders should do.
Well, They started off to a good
Oh.
note. Hired Tom Brady, or let him buy the part. Now just let him be the GM and take over.
I think your first step would have a plane hit the stadium so you don't play the rest of the year, rebuild, and then just start fresh next year.
I think my first step would be just getting your owner a new haircut, and that might change some things around for you.
That's a culture changer.
Have you seen the meme where he the quote is he comes out and says that his 22-year-old girlfriend didn't even know he was rich, like, and then they show his haircut. It's like she knew he had some money. Gee, there's nothing you can fix on the Raiders or the Cowboys, buddy. Neither of us are going to get that 30 rack anytime soon.
I think the issue with a lot of these teams is like, what have they done in the draft recently? Like any good team right now, outside of maybe San Francisco, even maybe the Chiefs, has drafted exceptionally well. Like if a team's competing right now, it's because they drafted young, they've developed, and they're on rookie contracts still. They're not paying millions of dollars for a quarterback or whatever like the Cowboys are doing. So in my opinion, you got to start nailing the draft. And then you have good role players. You got to build around those guys. Your Max Crosby. You got rid of Devontae Adams, who seemed like he was all in at the beginning of the year. It seems like there's some locker room issues. I really thought Pierce would have been a better coach to kind of bring them together a little bit like Dan Campbell, and it seems like that hasn't really shown so far this season, in my opinion.
I went the opposite way.
I
don't
I
think
do have a
Antonio
question
Pierce
for.
will be a head coach next year
No, probably
because
not.
he's done some really stupid shit.
Who's that?
Antonio Pierce.
Oh,
I do have a question for G.
I have a question for Dave.
He
after
at the
this.
beginning of the year, wasn't he kind of throwing out that Raiders would probably be a top 2-3 defense? And where are they at now? I honestly don't know where their defense is. I just know the whole team's in shambles.
I've been wanting to say that, Josh, but I didn't want to hurt G's feelings.
G says a lot of things to me. G and I have a very strong love-hate relationship, so I'm okay saying that.
I will say, Dave, or my question to you is, you're talking about the draft, would you draft a tight end in the first round back-to-back years? Is this what we're trying to talk about here?
Michael Meyer wasn't a first-round pick.
He was a second, yeah, but still, he was
Really?
I still remember, in the Raiders' defense, I'll be straight up honest about this. When we took Laporta over Myers, I was wondering what the heck we were doing. And I'll never question Brad Holmes again after that draft, but I was wondering what we're doing. And turns out Bowers is a pretty good football player, and he's definitely produced. But no, I probably don't take him back-to-back years in the top 2 rounds. Probably not what I'm doing if I'm trying to rebuild a team.
Yeah, I don't think that's where I'd start at. I've always been a firm believer in starting in the offensive line. Invest in the offensive line, build off the offensive line. And
That's what I do in
defensive
Madden,
line.
man.
That's what you got to do.
Ben, look at what the Packers did. What they do?
Right.
They took.
Oh, this is back to the Russell Wilson thing. Brett's still fired up about Wilson. $85 million.
Hey, they're a winning
Let
football
it go,
team.
man. Just let it go.
Bo
But-
Nix.
But yeah, then the Packers took 2 tight ends in the same draft, and look at how.
That was
Pretty
later
easy.
on.
Yeah, but it's working out pretty well.
Well, except the one doesn't play, but yeah.
Well, the
Tucker
one they
Kraft
took
hit.
later. But yeah,
What a great
What's-
draft pick.
nice.
I think Jace is officially inebriated.
This guy's in the wrong podcast. I think he's supposed to be in something else.
Me and Jace have a big day tomorrow.
What are you guys doing?
Thursday beers.
Awesome.
That does sound like a big day. What time does Thursday beers start at?
About 5:15 Central Time.
Whenever the sheep quit making noise.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
bud.
speaking of that, Shay, rumor has it is you got a new shipment of Velcro gloves in today. Is why you were a little late, and why the sheep were a little scared.
Don't knock it till you try it, buddy.
Okay.
That's Gruden's thing. Watch a TikTok. I don't know what Jace talking about. I got to get on TikTok. That's speaking of TikTok, our new official sponsor, Boom Boom. This is nice.
I don't know if you're supposed to do it as often as you've been doing it. We've only been on for 45 minutes. I've seen you do it like 3 or 4 times.
What is
Right.
that stuff?
I don't know, man, but free JMO. I don't know what that is. Boom Boom.
That's
What?
what Jamo got suspended for. He's playing.
Dude, we'll get into that in a sec. That's the most I've never seen anything like this in a
Neither
league.
have
where
I.
they have all these tweets from ESPN, Schefter, all these guys about, and then there's so many speculations online. Like, was it Rhino pills from the gas station? Was it a bad Viagra that you can't get up in the bedroom for anymore? Was it something in pre-workout? Was it his Adderall because he's prescribed it through a doctor and they switched his prescription? Like all these things.
I think
Personally, me, probably a Viagra. If I know JMO,
3.
dude,
It would
You know-
it would explain the -4 yards he got me.
yeah, who gets drug tested after one reception for -4 yards?
I have no idea.
Not
I
something's
want to drug test that Boise State running back.
up. Hey, leave him out of this.
I would have maybe made him do like a breathalyzer. Maybe he was drunk, but man, to drug test him.
What did Ben say? That was funny. Ben says he was on some antidepressants.
No, he was on a depressant.
Hey, go watch that TikTok I just sent you guys. That's what Jason's talking about. It's actually really funny.
Like watching Jared Goff go 18 for 18, 292 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like watching Jared Goff 18 for 18, 292 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Got me feeling nicey.
Is that actually Gruden?
That's Gruden.
He looks like he's on some stuff, man. Maybe we need to send him a JMO test.
He's a depressant.
All right, Jace, that's funny. Sorry for doubting you, dude.
Gruden's on some boom boom right there.
Dude, this stuff's legit. Boom, boom. Get yours today at the
Is that
Black Hills
meth?
Boys. Doesn't say it's meth.
Close to it.
You got a
Doesn't say
promo
it's
code?
not, man.
Menthol, wintergreen oil, peppermint oil, almond oil, petitgreen oil, and spearmint oil, baby. This is all natural oils.
They probably meant to say methyl oil.
You're so natural.
Methyl?
No, not menthol.
It's
Methyl.
really nice of Jace to forgive us. So, is JMO playing or not?
He's playing Sunday.
The only way he couldn't play right now, since it's past Wednesday on the suspension list, is if he gets put on the commissioner's exempt list or whatever. Right? That's the only way that he could not play. But the worst thing is, regardless, he's probably going to miss that Green Bay game, which is going to be big and hurt us. We got Allen Robinson and Tim Patrick, who's Shay's new favorite player. But if we push the suspension, like we don't need him for the Tennessee game. So let's just suspend him for that. But then the next week after the Packers is the Texans, and you're probably going to want him for that game too. So
Yeah.
It was
Tough stretch.
when I saw that he got suspended, and it said facing a 2-game suspension.
glorious picture ever too.
Yeah, right when I saw it, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And then like I listened to Locked On Lines a lot, and Matt Derry was talking about it, and it's just like, if you're gonna suspend him, fucking suspend him. Like don't draw it out 2 weeks.
Well, they're probably
'Cause that's just-
investigating it.
Don't investigate, just fucking suspend him, and get it over with.
Well, then
I
what if they wrongly accuse him? Then JMO can turn around and sue him.
Well, I think they're waiting for him he has an opportunity to appeal, right? So
Yeah.
don't you have like a 5-day window that you can have to
He
appeal?
he said he wasn't gonna appeal it though.
I don't know, man. I listened to a conference today with Dan Campbell, and he's like, he's got to pay for what he's done or something like that. So like,
Yeah.
I feel like he's done something, but what that is and to what extent is so many speculation that the only thing I can say is just free Waymo. He didn't do it.
Did you hear Emmanuel Mosley's coming back?
Allegedly, yeah, that's wild.
I did not expect that.
Wow. Who does Detroit play this week?
Tennessee.
No, Tennessee.
Will Levis.
God,
Will Levis.
Teddy.
God dang it, I'm jealous of Will Levis, but he ain't playing.
He ain't playing. Is he? He's out?
Yeah, it looks like he's out. Looks like we'll play. Who's the guy that got his face bashed in by Miles Garrett? Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph. Yeah.
Brutal.
Wow.
I
Who's
wish it was
so-
Will Levis because that guy is so dumb.
Is Jaden Daniels gonna play?
Because you play the Bears, don't they?
Yeah,
According
I was hoping
to-
the Bears would lose.
Jaden
According
Daniels
to
is not
Jaden
playing.
Daniels' mom, he's okay. According to the organization, week to week. But his mom tweeted that he's okay.
I trust the mom's intuition.
Yeah.
I always trust the mom's intuition.
I don't know. Marcus Mariota looked good last week, so I think they still
Yeah.
beat Chicago.
He fits right into that offense. Actually worked out pretty nicely for him.
Ben, how you feeling about the Packers?
I mean, it's a roller coaster, dude. Roller coaster. Defense has been locked in. Defense has been really good. Got a kicker now, so that makes me feel a lot better about things. But Jordan Love, man, he's one of the. I think he's like second in touchdown passes, even missing 2 games. But he also leads or is tied for the lead with interceptions. So he'll go out and throw 4 touchdowns a game, but he also throws 3 picks and just crazy. I mean, he's an absolute gunslinger. It's fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. He's pure entertainment. He does some crazy stuff, but he also does the dumbest stuff. Then it's going to lose you games. It's just how it is. The fact they beat the Houston Texans, who are one of the best AFC teams, one of the best teams in the NFL, and they had a -3 turnover ratio. It's like, how that shouldn't even happen, but it happened. They got it. They found a way to win. And that's usually a pretty good hallmark of a really good football team. So I'm excited to see how they go. Like, the defense has been so good that Hafley's just changed everything for them on their identity and their game plan and everything. So that's been a lot of fun to watch their defense. They got some injuries, but they'll be okay. Ben, what did the kicker do to go to prison? I think you hurt someone.
He beat the shit out of his wife, dude.
That's all right. Hey, he's kicking field goals and winning football games. He
This
got
guy
to Green Bay last.
JMO takes a bad Viagra and he's suspended for 2 games, but this guy can get away with a domestic?
I mean, he was out for quite some time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's why he got
Yeah.
arrested.
I thought it was like something that he was falsely accused of.
No, he was in some
Maybe
trouble.
he was
He
falsely accused, but everyone on Twitter said he beat the shit out of his wife.
I'm talking Ray Rice elevator.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt
He
style.
got cleared. He got cleared earlier last week, and Green Bay picked him up. He didn't get to Green Bay till Wednesday. Then he goes 3 for, or he makes all his PATs and kicks a game-winning field goal.
Yeah, you
man.
guys aren't real high on like the moral value and stuff. Like you don't care about that. So
No.
It's got to be pretty bad. You can't be a cheater. That's the one thing. Cheating's off limits.
What happened with the young kid, 44, that was kicking for you?
Narvison, he sucked. He was kicking like 67% from field goal.
He was a rookie, right?
Yeah, he was on Tennessee's. Well, we drafted that Carlson last year. He was a rookie, Andres Carlson last year. And he was all right. He kicked about 80%, but he was just super inconsistent. He'd miss PATs all the time, but then go make like a 59-yarder. So they got rid of him, brought in this Narvison guy. Was lights out in preseason, but this year in the actual regular season was just been awful. Miss. I mean, we lost a couple games because of field goals. Just missed field goals. And then McManus, just by the grace of God, got cleared. Green Bay called him up immediately, and he was in Green Bay.
not
2 days
say
later.
I would not say God, bro.
nothing to do with that.
This is the Black Hills Boys podcast. Does not necessarily agree with the comments
We
of
do
Mr.
not
Benjamin.
condone that.
Oh, but what I say is wrong, but yeah, we're back, baby. It's gonna be fun. I mean,
just because he's winning you football games doesn't mean it's okay.
I want to hear the honest opinion when he misses a big field goal. I want to see what you say. I can't wait.
I'll release the tapes. You got the evidence. But no, Green Bay's gonna be a fun team to keep going forward here. I think they're gonna be one of the top 2 teams in the NFC North for sure. I still think they're better than Minnesota. I still think they're better than Chicago. I think they're not as good as Detroit, obviously, but they're right up there as one of the best teams in the NFC. And with Jordan Love, like, you can get down. You saw the Minnesota game; they are down multiple. Like, he can bring you back in a game. He's gonna keep it close because he's stupid and turns it over. But I mean, he's good. And the Packers, Dobbs is back. He had a mental breakdown. Missed a game there and some practice, got suspended, but he's back now. And last week obviously was a huge difference, catching touchdowns and doing what Dobbs does. Tucker Kraft's just been, and Josh Jacobs both have just been amazing in this year's offense. So it's been good, locked and loaded, ready to make another 10-year run at this thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's another example of drafting well and developing, though. I mean,
Yeah, all draft picks. Well, Josh Jacobs isn't, but everybody else. I mean, literally all draft picks.
I think to be successful in the league nowadays, you got to do that unless you're like the Rams and go all in on a year, and then
Right.
What are they
Right.
gonna do?
Is
Are they gonna
Puka
trade
ever gonna
everybody?
play again?
What's that, Josh?
When's
That's
Puka
bad
get
football.
back? When's Puka get back?
It's a while, but yeah, like Shay said, the trade stuff's crazy. Like all the rumors on Twitter with Cup and Stafford even, and
Stafford, yeah.
I don't know how legit all that stuff is, but I think the Cup one's pretty legit.
I bet.
Yeah, and they want a third or a second for him.
Yeah, they're asking a second, but that's exactly what the Jets did for, or not the Jets. That's what the Raiders did for Devontae. Like they won't get that.
Yeah, you gotta ask Kai.
Probably you might get a third from a team that's decent.
Isn't
So-
it crazy in the NFL how you can just like get a star receiver for a 3rd round draft pick, 2nd round draft
Well,
pick?
Raven says, "Hey boys, hello, Raven."
Hello, Raven.
She's like right down the road from me again, and we have yet to see each other. I think last year I was here for like 3 months and saw each other like once or twice. Need to change that, Raven. But David, what do you think about the Lions?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't have too much. It's been just kind of a unfortunate year so far with injuries, especially on the defensive end position. We've lost 4 of our top 4 players to the IR for the whole season.
It's
Losing
crazy.
Hodge was obviously just like it's just crazy, just like a heartbeat of the team, and does all the
Josh
right
made it
things.
worse.
Josh made it worse. So it'll be interesting to see how we fill those voids. We still haven't traded for anybody. I'm guessing we get somebody. I know Shay's got a few names in mind, but ultimately we're playing some really good football on offense. Jared Goff looks like MVP caliber right now, which as he should with all the weapons he has. Jameer Gibbs is an absolute freak. Shows why draft value doesn't matter. He's a guy once again that same draft class as Laporta that you're sitting there going, why did we just take a running back at 12? And turns out it's one of the best picks that we've made since Barry. So I think very early in the year, I'm not saying he's as good as Barry. I'm just saying it was a very similar pick of very impactful on the franchise. And looking back, a few weeks ago, I know I said like he'd be better than CMC if he was healthy. It would be interesting to see what those numbers would look like. Unfortunately, we won't be able to, know because CMC's got tendonitis in both ankles. So
Pussy.
it's been a fun year. Ups and downs. I think we just got to find a way to keep winning games and get into the playoffs and NFC North's the gauntlet. And I know we're going to drop a game or two, 1 or 2 there. So I'm excited to see what happens before November 5th trade deadline. I think that's kind of the big thing I'm looking towards.
Yeah, the one thing about Detroit and Green Bay, Detroit plays Tennessee this week. Green Bay plays Jacksonville, like in the NFC North and how the NFC is shaping up. Like those are like must-win games.
Trap
That's
games.
what- Yeah, absolute trap games. Because then we turn around and play each other next week, and like that can go either way, and that's whatever. But you definitely got to win the games.
Is that
like
game
this
in
week.
Detroit or Green Bay?
I think
Which
the first
one?
time, usually in
The
Detroit. Yeah.
Lions and
I think it's in Green Bay.
Is it? Yeah. It's usually first time in Green Bay, and then they finish a year in Detroit. in the
no,
Dome.
they flip flop.
Okay.
She said
Yeah,
no.
whatever.
But regardless, that don't matter.
No,
I was just curious on.
I don't know, but
Hey, is she calling me rude?
Yeah.
I would
What did
think
I
so.
say rude? That we needed to
Um,
hang out? That we never got to? Trig. Damn you, Trig.
Frick, I want my shoes back.
Raven, I wasn't being rude. I was saying we need to hang out sometime. Not that I was just pointing out we haven't yet.
Shay, what's your thoughts on Detroit? Who's some trade targets? I know you got a few in mind, and what's the season kind of looking like so far?
Well, it sucks that we're talking about trading for a DN right now because we went out and paid money for a really good DN, and that worked out for 2 games, and then
Worked out great.
it did, yeah. And then losing the heart and soul of our defense was even worse, and then Josh just rubbed salt in the wound.
Hey, you weren't on earlier. I did publicly apologize for what I said. It had no place anywhere in this world for those what I said. So I'm working on myself. I'm trying to improve, and I apologize
It's all right, Josh. I love you.
to you, to Detroit, because he's not only the heart and soul of your defense, he's the heart and soul of that town,
You're right.
that state.
You're right. Trade targets. Trade targets, I'd say number one is Chase Young. He's on a 1-year deal with New Orleans. New Orleans has lost 5 in a row. I mean, what do you trade for him though? A sixth,
Dave.
a sixth or a seventh?
Boom boom.
Yeah, what did
For who, Shay?
Niners
For
trade
Chase Young.
Yeah.
What are you giving up for him? He's on a 1-year deal.
Chase
What the-
Young. I'll give you a fifth.
What did the Niners trade for him last year?
He's
They got
not.
that comp 3, right? It was whatever they could. Is the third round the comp round?
Yes.
So it is a 3 because they ended up getting the pick back through someone else that they lost via free agency.
Because he shouldn't have got.
No. And I think that showed a lot.
Yeah.
Then number 2, Trayvon Walker in Jacksonville. Seen a lot about him, which is yeah, exactly.
I saw some stuff.
There's a lot of talk about Trayvon Walker.
How many first
And
round?
then
do you
third is Zadarius Smith.
I think Zadarius is the most realistic.
I do too. I think Chase Young is the most realistic. I think Zadarius is very close behind him though.
Do you want to give up some first rounders? I'll just give you Micah.
No.
3
Nah.
first rounders and Montgomery.
How about you suck my dick?
I really liked a quote from Brad Holmes when I was listening to one of his podcasts, or not one of his, but just a speech that he had last year when he didn't make a move in free agency. And he said, I can't remember exactly how it went, but he said he doesn't let like a situation like that handcuff him, right? He doesn't let fear from a situation of missing out on something handcuff him, which I thought's like, and it's not exactly like that, but like don't let one situation determine the outcome of your entire franchise, right? That's the way I took it. Like you have one player go out, like, don't sabotage all these draft picks to make up for one player. Like other guys will step up.
I
Yeah.
think regardless though, you have to make some kind of move at the edge position because
Agreed.
what we're rocking with right now ain't gonna rock.
And Ukwu looked good. He looked okay for.
He looked all right, yeah, but Josh Pascal was the second lowest PFF grade, I think, on our defense.
Yeah, and I thought that was honestly the best game he's played for us, which is crazy.
I did too, so that's not saying much. James Houston was 4th on PFF. He is. I want him to be really good, but I'm losing hope.
Yeah, he's awful.
He had like a perfect, they did like a wrap on the edge. He had a perfect shot at Darnold, and Darnold just like literally just like ran around him. And he's just sitting there like, I'm like, oh my god, I want this guy.
Arnold's
He's sneaky.
Regardless,
he leads
that should
speed.
happen. But then the one person that I will say has really surprised me is that Trevor Nowatzki.
You know why he's so good though? Did you read all that today?
No,
He's
I guess
been-
I haven't.
Derek Barnes has been in the building every day working with him one-on-one, which I think is
Oh, I
pretty
didn't
cool.
know that. But I mean, that dude has looked like. Was he a undrafted free agent or was he?
I don't think we drafted him. Yeah, I think he was
I think-
undrafted.
I think he was undrafted, and he looked really good in that Vikings game. And he had a sack in the Cowboys beat down too. So
We
Yeah, I
don't
don't-
talk about the game anymore.
I'm excited though, man. You're sitting at 5-1. We're beat up, but I still think that we got enough time to make moves. Got till November 5th,
right.
which I know is coming up quick, but I think we're built for the long haul here. And the nice thing is it's not just a 1-year deal. Like all these guys are getting extended. The future looks bright in Detroit, and
Who sets up for JMO if he's out then?
I think you hit it on the head with Tim Patrick, and also we got Allen Robinson sitting there. Cleve Raymond looked really good last week. I don't think we lack options offensively right now. I'm more concerned about the defensive line than I am JMO missing 2 games for taking a Rhino pill at the gas station. So
Hope Tim Patrick scores a touchdown, man.
yeah, you got to get that jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where Ben. You still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
He's jacking off.
Your camera's off, dude.
Yeah, sorry, I'm checking emails.
Oh, all good. Let's
Whatever.
do. Shay, you got a quote for us?
Honestly, no, I don't. Free JMO.
Yeah, free JMO, baby. Ben, you got any interesting facts?
No.
Nothing.
No, I didn't. I forgot to look today.
You're an
Look up-
educator. You can't come up with a fact.
Not off the top of my head, I can't. Oh, New York Liberty won their first WNBA championship. I think it was in the history of their franchise. I think it took 23 years.
On that, what's that girl's name? Iweska, or I can't even say her name. Sabrina something, right?
Sabrina. Yeah.
Dude, she's like crying, like hugging her husband after the game. I'm like, oh, she must have had like a good game. I went and looked at her stats, and she was like 1 for 22 field goals.
Yeah.
What?
What a
And they
19
won.
that game.
They're going,
I started. I mean, it might have been about midnight when I was like looking at the score on my bed, and I literally started giggling.
She had a rough night.
Yeah, that's not great. Did you
Don't
see the
want to-
commissioner was wearing a dress with the New York skyline? Pretty
That's good.
fishy. Pretty fishy that they won, and she had that dress on.
Yeah, a lot of
And
controversy.
Angel Reese was at the game just
Yeah.
because she knows the impact she has on the WNBA.
Yep, I read
A
that.
lot more people watched that
Thanks,
game.
Angel.
than she was there.
She's a Jameis Winston of the WNBA.
Very proud of her.
Thanks,
I,
thank you, Angel.
I don't have any motivation for you today. I'm lacking the motivation. I'll make sure I have some next time that I get on here, but I'm really excited to hear this Sackman life advice.
I am too. This better be good.
Well, guys, like you kind of all really let me down.
What do you do, Josh, when somebody needs help?
What do you do when they need help?
Yeah, Josh.
You help them out.
How do you help them?
What kind of help do they need?
I don't know why this is so confusing. I'll let you just continue on. You're making this uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable. I don't know why you're asking me that question. Anyways, I'm sure people are now tuning into the show. Sacrament advice of the day. It's pretty simple. Don't be a jackass. Today I was driving down the street and someone just threw garbage literally out their window. Dumb. Don't be dumb. Don't be littering. Don't be a jackass to other people.
Almost as bad as stealing somebody's wallet.
Hey,
Yeah.
actually, my good friend Merritt Crabtree always says, "Be a slob. Give an inmate a job." That's what he says.
that actually seems like a Merritt quote. No, I don't know. It was weird to me because you see garbage in cities and stuff, and you're just like, all right, but I don't know if I've ever seen someone just throw garbage out their windshield just because. I don't know. Baffling. Then the other day I did see some people taking shots also while they're driving. Like that was concerning as well. So don't do that. City life, man. It's different. It's different. But no, here's a quote for you since I got one right here. So Ray Lewis, never be comfortable with just enough. Jay, I'll just fill in for you there.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. Ben, did you know Scotty Scheffler would have to be number one for like another 11 years to tie Tiger Woods' number one?
Shay, I got a quote.
Length
Scotty
being number one.
Scotty might just do it.
He might never lose again.
I'm waiting.
The Shay Connick quote: "Your past is a flashlight for your future."
Thank you, David.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Dave, you know, you said you weren't feeling motivated, but right there, you got me fired up, man.
I'm motivated.
That's all I'm trying to do, Josh. I'm trying to get you something up, get you bricked up.
Yep. You're getting paid for your actions that you made 10 years ago.
I'm
Who?
always bricked. I'm riding Russell.
With that,
what if our past is pretty like? Does that mean our future is pretty dull? Is that what
Shut up, Josh.
your light
Right.
might not just be very bright. Yeah, I think your biggest thing is gonna be really hard to see as you move forward.
Change the battery on your flashlight.
You know, get one of those sticks and
You can always get a new battery. You can always get a new future as long as you're willing to change. Yeah.
Amen, bruv.
end this thing out, Shay boy.
Thanks for coming.